unscrew this. When that's all soldered together, then you can actually break that loose if this tank had to move for some reason without having to cut the copper.
Back to where I started. The flow meter is how we determine the correct flow of fluid up to the collectors. The flow meter has a liter per minute and a gallon per minute setting. We want the gallon per minute setting at 1 gallon per minute for each 4x10 or 0.7 gallons per minute for a 4x8. We have 3 4x8s, therefore we would have 3 times 0.7, 2.1 gallons per minute. Okay, the SHEM system comes with the pump in a separate box. We have system 1 through 4. This is a system 1. System 1 pumps from 0 to 20 feet, and the system 2 is to 32 feet. System 3 goes up to 40 feet. System 4 goes up to 60 feet. So, system 1 pump is going to pump from the head to the head height. Head is defined as the top of the collector. The pump has to run the water up from the flange to the top of the collector. Now, when we say measure your head height, we generally measure from the pump, but keep in mind that really, true head height is the top of the collector, or excuse me, the top of the tank. And that just gives you a little extra 4 feet of special room there. So here we go. All you have to do is mount the pump. There are 4 bolts. Generally, I think those are 5/8. And fasten everything down, and that's how you connect the collector loop to the tank. Right here, the rule of thumb here is that you have to keep any contaminants out of the flow meter. The flow meter has a stainless steel rod in it, and you just don't want to risk getting anything on the flow meter rod so that it can work freely. Last thing you got to keep in mind is that you have an isolation valve here. So we want to make sure that this isolation valve is on, and again this isolation valve is on. Now we can go ahead and fill the tank. The tank will fill up, and when the tank is right up to here, we'll know that we have the sufficient amount of water in the tank. Generally speaking, you want to fill all the way to the very top and then drain off 2.5 inches. But I already know, because I've done this a few times, that if I come down approximately 1.5 inches, which is right there, then I'll have the right measure. 1.5 inches, right there is 2 1/4. Perfect. So we can fill this thing up until the water is right there in the tank, and we know we're good to go. Right now the collector loop is not completed, but that's all right, because the ability to fill the tank up is separate from the potable water loop. Here they are right here, and it's going to take about 20 minutes to fill this tank up. So we might as well just go ahead and hold the hose right up here, make sure that we have a place for the water to come in and the air to come out. That's part of the whole program. Now in this case, Dave left a well for a thermostat to go in later, a temperature sensor, just so you can see what the temperature is on the collector loop coming back, just for fun. And here we'll have our cold in and our hot out, and those of course run into the collector, or excuse me, into the heat exchanger. So these cold in and hot out right here hook into the heat exchanger, are independent of the fluids in the tank. So we can now go ahead and fill the tank up.